Educational philosophies, types and functions. Introduction. Nowadays, education is set in various contexts, and educators strive to provide their students with the most entertaining approaches while focusing on the new material. In this situation, educational philosophies play an integral role in the foundations of specific educational methods. Among the important philosophies in education are pragmatism, realism, progressivism, and constructivism. Here, each paradigm and approach has certain priorities and perspectives, allowing the educator to concentrate on the application of learned skills, the development of critical reasoning, the inclusion of personal interests, or reflective abilities. As a result, educational philosophies help not only educators in finding the most efficient teaching methods but also develop certain abilities in students. Pragmatism. The first educational philosophy is pragmatism, which values utility. According to the given paradigm, the pragmatic educational approach should focus on life and personal development. In other words, educators must inspire students to become better individuals by delivering lessons that apply to everyday experience. Consequently, a pragmatic curriculum will need a significant number of group activities where learners must reach a consensus. For instance, pragmatic educators might involve group discussions to educate on acute issues to let their students learn how to communicate in groups, cooperate, and negotiate. In turn, students should be encouraged to put those abilities to use during their routines. Therefore, as a student, one will learn how to use the learned skills in everyday life through pragmatic education. This can be later applied in job interviews or as a part of the networking process when becoming acquainted with other people. Realism. Another educational philosophy is realism, which values objectivity. In realistic terms, education involves removing oneself from the personalities of both the instructor and the students and letting the information guide the process of learning. The educator is not supposed to offer their viewpoint on the matter while delivering the information. A realistic teacher emphasizes the importance of students using their senses while learning. This comprises instructional strategies that encourage participation and hands-on learning instead of rote memorization. As an educator, it will be essential to include activities like excursions, group assignments, and similar tasks. Experimentation, practice, and technical experience must be highlighted for the education to be realistic. In turn, as a student, one might use realism in education to hone their skills in reasoning, critical thinking, and application of empirical evidence. Such a realistic approach can be used by the student to observe and comprehend facts. Progressivism. Additionally, education does not always have to revolve around the necessary skills and information. For instance, according to progressivists, independence, advancement, and innovation are essential components of learning. Progressivists base their curriculum on the requirements, skills, preferences, and capabilities of their students because they perceive such an approach as the most optimal in the process of knowledge building. As an educator, one might offer continuous initiatives and adapt technology to make the lessons more interactive and entertaining. Moreover, instead of homework, one might hold classroom activities that all students will agree upon. Lastly, it might be beneficial to remove restrictions and penalties and allow students to participate in the assessment to feel involved. In this situation, students can apply the given approach by finding their genuine interests and suggesting one's own topics for discussion. This approach will allow other students to explore their interests as well. Constructivism. Finally, the fourth educational philosophy is constructivism, which is based on reflection and application. The constructivist philosophy of education is founded on the idea that learning happens when students actively contribute to the development of purpose and understanding instead of merely absorbing information. In this case, the creators of purpose and understanding are learners. Constructivist instruction promotes reflective practice, which develops engaged, competent students. Students may be active and independent thinkers in a constructivist classroom context because of its democratic and participatory method. For instance, as an educator, one might allow the students to choose their activity and debate why it is the best option. As a learner, one might cooperate with another student to tutor them on their weak spots. Additionally, the students can ask their individual questions and use knowledge and first-hand observation to discover the solutions. As a result, to respond to the question, they offer their relevant evidence. Conclusion. In sum, educational philosophies support teachers in developing the most effective teaching techniques as well as specific skills in pupils. A realistic educational strategy should emphasize life and personal growth. One will discover how to use newly acquired abilities in daily life while still a student. The instructor may promote involvement and practical learning by being realistic. As a student, one develops critical thinking and reasoning abilities. A progressive instructor could adopt technology and offer ongoing initiatives to make the courses more engaging and interactive. By identifying their true interests and coming up with their conversation topics, students may put the suggested strategy into practice. Finally, as a constructivist educator, one may let the students select their activity and discuss why it is the best decision. As a learner, one could work together with another student to help them with their areas of weakness.